podcast, episode
Woohoo!
23, with my co-hosts Kaylee, Eric, Corey, and to an extent Aaron, but he's more of a friend of the channel. We wanted to have him on because he plays really good metal music and whatnot. We also have rhythm guitarist of the Acacia stream, Tom Smith Jr. Tom, how are you doing tonight?
Not a junior, and I think I'm lead now.
Oh shit!
Oh my!
I don't know. I just play more leads than Devin, so every time somebody calls me rhythm, I'm like, that's fine because rhythm's cooler, but I play more leads than Devin, so I just think it's funny. Also, not a junior though, so if you got that from our Wikipedia, it's because Devin actually put it there.
All right. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, he refuses to accept that I'm not a junior, even though my dad is also Tom Smith, but we have different middle names. So he went to our Wikipedia and added Tom Smith Jr.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
I mean, I have to say, it's a real treat to have you on. By the way, this is if people who don't know the channel very well don't know, Corey and I very much bonded over our love of the Acacia strain. And they have been my personal favorite band for like 12 years. Aaron, also, one of the other people I bonded with over the Acacia strain. So having their lead guitarist, not a junior, on here is
there
a real
we
treat.
go. There we go. Thank you.
Man.
It's mind blowing. I mean, being a local musician, I meet a lot of other musicians. A lot of people I look up to, and like I don't really get starstruck anymore, but it's still just like, oh damn, like it's fucking happening, Yeah. It still catches you off guard from time to time, and I'm sure even you have moments like that as a bigger musician. It's hard to be a big musician in the metal scene, but I mean, Acacia strains managed to kind of make that happen. Yeah,
it's weird that I'm considered a big musician because I'm not at all. But I'm fortunate that I'm in a band that people like, so I'll go with that wording of it.
Yeah. Well, you and the rest of the Acacia strain wrote "It Comes in Waves," so as far as any of us are concerned, you're a fucking genius.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We are crazy about that album. We're crazy about all of your albums, actually.
Decay makes me feel something a little interesting now.
Man. I've already got the vinyl pre-ordered and all 5 of the letters.
It's funny because people keep asking me if I know it. I forgot about half the stuff we released for that just because it was planned out for 6 months before anything started, and I didn't order a single vinyl. I didn't order any of our own packages just to have it. I'm just like, I guess I hope Rise sends me some because I'm not gonna have any other way.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have the full set, so I'll just send you a picture and be like, hey, there you go. You get to enjoy from afar.
There we go. That's perfect.
Amazing.
I actually think that, I'm going to go a little out of order with how they have the questions here, but while we're talking about it, that was actually a really interesting idea, the way you guys released the tracks for Decay, I guess the full album, Slow Decay. How did that come about? What was the thought process behind that release structure? Because it's really cool.
So I was I don't want to say uninvolved with the release of it just because and I only say that just because it wasn't my idea, but we had kind of been talking for a while about doing a series of 7 inches or an EP here, an EP there, just kind of trying to get rid of the rule book of you put a record out, you tour on it, 2 years later you put another one out. This band's old enough where that's been a thing before. And especially because we knew that It Comes in Waves was gonna be a surprise. We had already finished It Comes in Waves as we finished Slow Decay. So Griffin was Griffin was really pushing for the EP thing, and Vincent and him kind of figured out if we do it this way, I think it'll work. And then when they gave me that idea, I went, no, I don't like that idea.
No,
because I don't listen to singles from records usually. I'm wait for it to come out and just take it all in at once. But after D, and I think I was a full-blown believer with E, but once D came out and it was oh shit, people are pumped on this. I was like, all right, that's cool. It's cool to know that we've got these 2 songs that are out already and that there's 2 more that are coming out in a few weeks. So it's kind of keep the excitement, and it worked out perfectly with the fact that everybody was stuck inside and there's no more touring. So it was like, all right, at least we get to still put music out and be on people's radar even when we can't be on the radar.
Well, that was the thing that I really liked about it, was having something to look forward to through all this, craziness.
God, yeah.
Like Corey and I would actually like theorize, like, what's the full word gonna be? Like, what are the next 2 tracks gonna be like?
We spent like a full 30 minutes just in your car, just fucking, what is it? Like, I think it was right after D came out. Like, D came out, we saw you guys live, and then the whole weekend we were in Connecticut, like that weekend, just fucking around playing airsoft and shit. And we just kept like quoting the song and trying to figure out like what everything was. And then like as it came down the line, it just it was just mind blowing. And we've been so excited about everything that's coming out, and so excited with this new direction, especially with go ahead.
I really like how much thought that you two put into like what we released, because I watched that entire like 90-minute breakdown of It Comes in Waves. I was like,
holy shit!
I was like, wow, this is they're thinking about this. Like, it was enjoyable, but there was definitely a few times where I was like, I wish I could say that was our idea, because it's nowhere near as deep as that. But fuck yeah, I get that way with other bands and movies more than anything. But I appreciate the analytics that you guys put into our music.
Well, we appreciate you guys making it. We just think about shit. We get a little bit of whiskey in us, and then we're up half the night trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
That'll do it to you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of drunk theorizing on music, and most of the time I like metal, but I'm not by any stretch of the imagination a metalhead to the same extent that Corey, Eric, and Aaron are. But I'll hear the Acacia string, I'll be like, that's pretty good go to war music. I'll keep that in my playlist for when I'm playing again. Yeah.
There you go. I hope it can help in that way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's great.
It makes me want to fight people Eric size. That's what it makes me want to do.
Fuck that.
Yeah. I get violent at shows, because I remember the first time I saw Acacia Strain, I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. And all of a sudden, there's a guy in Atlanta, he's big. I have a lot of people know him. Next thing I know, he kicks the guy next to me like straight, like 20 feet. He slides. I'm just like, I'm in danger. Like, that was immediately went through my head. Like that fucking Ralph May from Simpsons, just, I'm in danger. But oh man, that was when y'all were torn off Wormwood, and it was crazy.
Sure. I was not in the band then, but I was definitely seeing them at that time, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stand in the back, because fuck that, I'm not trying to get hit.
I mean, dude, being a little guy and liking heavy music, like I'm 150 pounds, like 5'9", 5'10". I'm not the biggest guy, especially compared to some people, fucking Eric. So it was intimidating for me at first, but the more I've gone to shows, like, a few little crews and stuff, but as long as you're nice to everyone's usually cool with you. And if someone tries to swing on you, you got 20 guys swinging on you back. Like, it's great. Yeah, Metal's great. Metal's great.
Good at ducking around.
Oh yeah.
You gotta be wily. And don't slip on any beer puddles and hurt your knee like I did.
Oh, that was miserable.
Or water bottles that we throw out.
Oh, maybe it was you guys. Maybe it was one of those water bottles. I'll have to bring that up in a lawsuit or something.
I dislocated my shoulder at the most inopportune moment. I was seeing Body Snatcher, and they were doing a mosh call out, and I dislocated my shoulder mid mosh call, and I was like, I'm done. I can't do anymore. And it was like, act like someone just fucked up your order at McDonald's. That was the mosh call out, and I was so pissed because I couldn't act on that. Kyle Medina, if you ever see this, I love you still.
One of my really good friends from college is from Albany. And hopefully he's listening right now, but he fucking broke his eye socket at a show in Waterford, at an Acacia Strain show in Waterford.
When was that? Because I feel like, was that recent or was that a while back?
It was probably like it had to be a while back. I think, I don't know. He's a big continent guy, so it was probably a little bit after that.
Okay,
but,
we play that area constantly, and I saw somebody get like their whole eye just explode at one of their shows. I was just like, oh my God, I hope it's not that guy.
It might be, but you know, he still loves you guys. So I mean,
no hard feelings, clearly.
Yeah, he's like super into EDM now and shit. And I send him new music from you guys, and he's like, he's so chill now. I don't even know if he can listen to the Acacia Strain anymore. He's just like so chill, but he always brings it up. He's like, dude, did I ever tell you? Broke my fucking skull at one of their shows. And I'm like, calm down, buddy.
That's crazy.
I actually want to circle back a little bit to a comment you made, because you mentioned that you weren't in the Acacia Strain at the time that Wormwood came out. You were with Fit for an Autopsy for a bit, correct? Or
I mean, when Wormwood came out, no, I'm only 27 now, so I was way younger than everybody when it all came out. But I did play. I was like a fill-in guy for Fit for an Autopsy, and my first tour that I ever did, I played bass for Structures, that like tech band from Canada.
Ooh, I miss Structures so much. Oh my God. Oh, they were so good.
I agree.
So how did it come about that you joined the Acacia Strain?
So I was working for Will Putney for 4 years, like making records with him and just making records with the Acacia Strain, because we had done Above Below, Depression Sessions, Coma Witch, and then Grave Bloom, all with
So
Will.
all bangers, God.
Yeah, and it's funny because I wasn't even super like personally close to Devin at the time, but the only person that I told, other than like my then girlfriend and my parents, that I was leaving working for Will, because I didn't want to be stuck at a studio 24/7. I still wanted to like play live and stuff. I was like just bullshitting with Devin, and for some reason I just got the like confidence to tell him. I was like, hey, I know like you guys are coming in for a record soon, but I won't be there. And this was like a couple months before Grave Bloom, and he was like, oh, well, Richie just quit 3 days ago, so you want to play with us? I was like, okay, yeah, of course.
That's awesome.
It was very fortunate, the friendship that I had from beginning with them, and then it just kind of blossomed into me playing with them.
That's crazy, man.
Grave Bloom was when I got super hooked. That's like, I haven't been a fan that long, but I've been a huge fan ever since. But Grave Bloom was it. I remember the first time I heard you guys, the first song I heard was Impaler, and it was on some old music streaming app on the Mastodon channel. And
that's weird.
Fucking weird, right? I fell in love with Mastodon and you guys shortly after, and then I was showing Eric Mastodon, and I was like, dude, you got to watch all these music videos. Like, they're a trip. And we were like sitting around smoking cigars in his backyard. And then he's just like, dude, check out this song. It's called Send Help. And that fucking music video, I died.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's when I was like, all right, cool. So that was like my first taste of that genre, really, that subgenre.
Yeah, that's funny.
Music videos.
It's just funny that you found us from Mastodon, because it's like, I mean, Mastodon's my favorite band, but I would never put Mastodon and the Acacia Strain in the same world.
I mean,
as much as I wish we were, so we could tour with Mastodon, but yeah.
I mean, to me, you guys are in the same world, because I've got a Mastodon tattoo and I have a Acacia Strain tattoo on my leg. So, yeah, right. you guys are a part of my world. So, and many others.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Well, something I actually think compares pretty well, like between, because I'm a little more casual on Mastodon than Corey is by far, but I'm a huge Acacia Strain fan. But something I really like about your guys' music that I think compares to Mastodon, especially with your newer releases, I would say since Coma Witch, is the sense of atmosphere and the continuous riffs that kind of overlay every song, which to me is a big part of what sets you guys apart as a band in the hardcore metal, scene.
Yeah, I think that's because, like, I mean, Mastodon is super, like, Doom influenced, and we are all obsessed with, like Doom bands like Neurosis. Neurosis and Typo Negative are probably, like, the Acacia Strain's collective favorite band. And it's, like, I don't know, just all those bands like Mastodon, Isis, Converge, Neurosis, all those are just, like, a big part of how we write, because it's what we like to listen to, and I think, I mean, for me, I did a lot of the writing on It Comes in Waves, and my whole thing that I wanted to portray was Neurosis, Isis, Mastodon, and Suffocation. And that's like, those were like the 4 bands that I was like, how can I do those 4 bands and have it be the Acacia Strain at the same time?
Yeah.
I mean, it really comes down, I hate to say this, but Vincent's vocals are so distinguishable that I remember when he did a feature in, I think it was a Whitechapel song, or
Murder
it was
Sermon.
also, yeah, it was also with Impending Doom. God bless Impending Doom, obviously, but it went from basically an Impending Doom or Whitechapel song immediately into an Acacia String song just because of his vocal presence, and that was like the coolest thing to hear that, because I was like, how the hell did his part just automatically start sounding like they changed bands like instantly, and it's fucking awesome. That was young me listening to that too.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like what held like the glue that holds all of the newer stuff together, because his voice obviously, but then like somebody who doesn't get enough credit is Kevin's drumming style.
Dude,
like,
Kevin,
yes.
as a drummer, Kevin, I've been watching Kevin play drums, all of his drum playthroughs that he does, and his style is so interesting.
I've never heard another drummer like him, and I don't think there is another drummer like him.
He's a hardcore drummer mixed with a death metal drummer mixed with, I don't know, just weird time changes. Like, I don't know, but he's incredible, and I think...
When he has kind of jazzy, weird fills, too, that I think work really well.
Yeah, it's like all his, like, classic rock influences and, like, 80s metal that he loves. Me and him, like, we grew up kind of on the same music, like, a lot of, like, Motley Crue and, like, Rush and shit like that. So, yeah, he has this way of being very complex without sounding that way, and I think that's kind of like between Vincent's vocal and his drumming, it's like anything that we do is going to sound somewhat like us just because of those two common things, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, even going back to older albums like Wormwood, you play The Hills Have Eyes and you're like, oh, this is a pretty simple song. And then you break down the drums and you're like, this isn't simple. Like, this sucks to play. And he just makes it look so easy.
When we had to have a fill-in drummer for a year, we were like, stressed because I was like, how are we going to do this? Like, who is going to play as good as him? And then we had our buddy Matt, who just stepped into it and destroyed everything. And it was some of the, like, it was really cool because the songs were definitely felt a little different, but it was neither him or Kevin was better. It was just two different feels to them. Yeah. And I loved, like, it, for me, it refreshed a lot of the songs where I was like, oh, like this song that I hated playing, now I kind of like playing it more. And then there was some songs where like I like playing them way more with Kevin than I did Matt. But yeah, it's when Matt had to take that on, I was like, you do it, man. And he showed up and he crushed it. And I was like, all right, dude, you're a better musician than I could ever be.
That's crazy, man.
So what are some of the, Corey tells me that you're a big Gojira fan as well. And yeah. I gotta say, if we're talking about another band that has ridiculous drummer and ridiculous guitar writing, it's Gojira. So, yeah. What are some of your favorite songs from like Gojira and Mastodon? Like, what are some and you know, dare you?
Everything.
Everything.
Like there's especially with Mastodon, like Gojira, I love and I revere them as one of like the best metal bands ever. But I don't listen to their whole discography all the time. But Mastodon, it's like. Every record is perfect. Every one of them, literally every song by both bands is like, yeah, that's better than most things that most people could do. Even like the worst Mastodon song is better than 99% of people's best song they could ever write. So yeah.
What is the worst Mastodon song?
I honestly probably like Blood and Thunder, but that's one of the best at the same time.
Yeah, it's like their biggest hit, but also like. Have you heard of fucking Trilobite? Like, there's some masterpieces out there that people don't talk about.
They got stuff. There's not a single moment from either band that I dislike.
I have the most stereotypical thing, though. I really, really like Crack the Sky. I think that's actually...
that's a perfect record. There's no record like it, and there never will be. So that is a perfect record. So
I don't know.
That's a fine answer.
Have you heard of It Comes in Waves? Because that's a pretty fucking good one, man.
I mean, I'm a fan of it. I'm proud of what we did. So I'm not going to pretend like I'm not a fan of it. I'm proud of it. So yeah.
So what would be your favorite? What would be your favorite Acacia Strain song if you have one?
Or album.
Or album.
Are we talking as a fan or as a member of the band?
How about one
as Mr. Tom Smith, as not a junior.
Okay, I'm just gonna give you both. My favorite as a listener is either Hills Have Eyes or Dr. Doom, like from before I was in the band.
Oh yeah.
My favorite song my favorite normal song that I've written for the band was, what's the name of it? Lucid Dream. That one,
Yes.
I wrote that one, and I'm really proud of that one. And then From It Comes in Waves, I did a good chunk of the writing on that, but as far as, like, a lot of it was kind of like mixed and matched from different demos, but the song was like start to finish, like I sat down one day and wrote that all in a couple hours. And then what's the last track? Our Only Sin Was Giving It Names. The Names was 2 different songs that I wrote put together. So that's like the stuff that I'm most pumped on that I've done with the band.
So 2 of your favorite songs as a member of the band are 2 of my favorite songs that the band has ever created. So I feel validated in my opinion now.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I like that.
Man. So so your favorite album is the one that you had the biggest hand in? And like, truthfully speaking.
I mean, I'm definitely biased on it.
I'm
True.
proud of his
You got
work.
me there.
Can you blame the man?
No,
It's
not at all.
100% valid to be that proud of your work. I understand it.
I mean,
it's weird because I can't view the band as, I don't view the band as my band, you know, because I'm just someone lucky enough to be in the band, you know, like it's much bigger than me, but I'm very happy with what I have given to the band and what I was able to contribute to both of the records that I helped write. That's like the most pleasant way that I feel like I could say that and defend my view of liking my own material. Yeah.
I don't think you have to defend that to us. I mean, of course you're going to be proud of some of your own work. I mean, I'm proud of things that I've done. I feel like that's just how you should be. If you hate everything you ever make, then you're just not going to want to make it anymore.
I mean,
well, yeah, I mean that's definitely the case. Also,
I mean, there's no shame in liking what you produce. Like, in my opinion, my band's best song is the one that I helped write the most. Is that just my personal opinion? You know, there's nothing wrong with it. Does it make it fact? No.
Which, by the way, we've been talking a lot about the Acacia Strain on this podcast. But if you forgot that Aaron is the drummer for Void Eater, go listen to Void Eater and remind yourself, because they're really, really good.
Yeah.
If you like shitty death metal / deathcore / whatever the fuck.
You know, a little slam in there every now and then, because why not?
I don't know. The one thing that's been getting to me lately is the more I'm hearing these like closed hi-hat breakdowns, the more like I just want to throw more in. They're just fun. They're fun, right? There's no shame in throwing something in music just because it's fun.
Oh, I mean, why else would you do it? I'm not throwing things in music that I think suck. So
yeah. I mean,
you gotta do it.
look at Feed a Pigeon. That song in general. That's
Okay.
a fun song. That's a fucking fun song to listen to. I don't know about play because it's actually not super bad on drums, but it's a fun song to listen to.
It's fun to play too because it's easy.
But in its simplicity, there's a weird elegance to it, which is something that I really like about the Acacia Strain, because even though, like, it's not always, it's not always devourment. It doesn't have to be this super technical craziness fast all the time, but there is an elegance to using that space and using that down tempo to really accomplish an atmosphere that I don't think anyone else replicates the same way the Acacia Strain does.
I think the magic behind our band is that it is like chaotic moments, but generally very simple songs. And for me, everything, like, obviously It Comes in Waves is the exception, where that was like the art project and it was a free for all. But with Slow Decay, everything that I wrote for the record is like verse, chorus, verse, bridge. It's like pop structures. And it was like, okay, let's take these parts that are maybe complex or at least sound complex and fit them into a very simple structure so that it still has something like keeping it digestible, you know? And I think it was because of playing a lot of the older stuff, especially playing all of Continent, where I learned that and learned how simple the structures of older stuff was, that I was like, all right, I'm going simple, small brain structures and try to make big brain parts within that, you know?
That's smart. That's incredibly smart. I mean, you know, like, people love Continent. You know, people eat that shit up and they go fucking crazy for it. So, you know, why over-engineer it? Yeah, why over-engineer it at that point?
And I think, I mean, just to, not to like keep beating a point to death, but for, at least from my perspective, because we hadn't released It Comes in Waves yet when we were making Slow Decay, I was under the I thought everyone on the planet was going to hate It Comes in Waves, that it was going to be like potentially career ending. So when it came to writing Slow Decay, I was like, all right, if we're going to release this art project, what's the best way to follow up and show people that who are going to naturally say like the band lost it or they've gone too weird? What better way than to answer with like just a I don't want to say basic because it's not basic, but like a simple hit you in the face, get in, get out kind of record. And that was my mentality for every song that I wrote, of like, all right, everyone's going to say that we've gone too weird and that they want Continent and Wormwood back. I'm going to give you an updated version of it and remind you why this band is important. You know, that was just kind of my like fuel behind what I wrote on Slow Decay.
But with Slow Decay, there's still some interesting new flair that I haven't heard that much from you guys. Like I Breathe in the Smoke Deeply. Like that is some fucking, like that should be on the Crow soundtrack. Like that is some hardcore shit.
It's funny, amazing. Devin wrote that song 100% by himself, and when he presented it to me, I was like, "What are we gonna do with this? This is It Comes in Waves again." And I was like almost bothered by it at first, not because I was like angry at the song. I loved it, but I was like, "This is not like this." I was under the motivation of like it has to just be ass beater songs, but I'm really glad that we like let in some of that life of like the little glimpses of like the doomier moments on Grave Bloom and then the like overall doom vibe of It Comes in Waves. So I think there's like little moments of that peppered throughout that doesn't like ruin the whole like the hard hittingness of it, but it also doesn't just make it be It Comes in Waves Part 2, you know?
Yeah.
Which I would be fine with because I adore It Comes.
I mean, we're
you know, obviously I love Continent.
So.
Wow. Oh. I have a question now. Are you guys ever going to play It Comes in Waves live?
I won't say when because I can't, because I don't know when the fuck when. But if we ever do, it will only ever be from front to back. We will not play because it is one song. Like whether it was written in pieces and put together, it is one song. And we had thought about playing like pieces of it on the last tour, and we decided that if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it the right way and have it be start to finish with no gaps or anything. Like have it be as if we're hitting play on the record and we're just playing it live, you know? So if we're doing that, yes, it will be one big long thing. But I don't know when the fuck we're ever going to play it on the show.
I just want to know when that is so I can buy my ticket.
Man.
If you buy a ticket, sell me one, because I would love to fucking be there too. I have no clue when that is.
Hey, who remembers shows?
Yeah, really.
God,
the last one was you guys. So
I miss
Don't
concerts.
Remind me that
man.
I'm not able to go to Run the Jewels and Rage Against the Machine. That was supposed to be happening in like 2 weeks. Oh, I'm furious.
All right. I was
supposed to have been leaving for 4 in a week.
Exactly. I'm pissed because like young scene me is pissed off because Dance Gavin Dance got postponed a full year, and I'm pissed about that. And it's Dance Gavin Dance and Veil of Maya.
Everything got postponed a full year.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, if it opens up by September, I bought a My Chemical Romance ticket for Philadelphia in 2.5 months.
Oh man!
And I'll pray that $35 that I spent on that resold ticket is going to be. I'm excited if it happens.
I was supposed to buy.
is what it is.
I was supposed to buy that ticket like 3 girlfriends ago, dude.
Oh,
That's
jeez.
like
So much time has passed.
so much time has passed. Kaylee, what the hell? You barely talked. You gotta talk to us. What's going on?
Yeah,
What's happening
well,
in your life?
Not much. I mean, I'm just sitting here listening to you guys. I'm probably the one that knows about metal the least because I don't really listen to metal. I mean, the most metal I've listened to is like, I don't even know what to consider metal because I guess Rammstein is like the only person I've like, or the only group I've listened to that's like metal. I don't know, or like
I mean, that's
heavy
all you need
rock.
to know.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm pretty sad about that because that also got postponed. It was supposed to be in September, and that's not going to happen anymore. So, but yeah, you know, I'm here for the airsoft, and I listen to
That's
chill
weird for that.
jams, you know, like I'm too high intensity to listen to high intensity music. So I guess I'm at the fall here.
Yeah, you just gotta listen to Kenny G to like just cool yourself off throughout the day. You know?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
airsoft is my cool down time.
Let's actually talk about what about some non-metal music? Let's that everyone in here enjoys. So we talked a lot about metal, like Aaron and Tom. How about you guys start us off? What's some non-metal that you guys like?
Grindcore.
What?
Grindcore. Not technically metal. No, I'm kidding. What do you like, Tom? Tell me about your non-metal prefer.
I mean, I hate being that guy, but at this point, I feel like I listen to way more non-metal than metal. I have only written pop music this entire quarantine, and I have only this week I have only listened to Stevie Ray Vaughan, Freddie King, Leon Bridges, John Mayer, and then Dillinger. So I guess I listen to metal this week, but yeah, I don't. I will always. I hate people who are like, oh, I don't listen to metal anymore because I think that's shot, and I always will. But I'm like, lately I've been so much more inspired by things that aren't metal, and I don't know. Yeah, it's especially when I'm not touring. I'm like, fuck. The last thing I want to do is listen to metal. You know?
Yeah. Well, and you can't always find inspiration in the same echo chamber too. Like if you listen to nothing but metal, it's like it's all the same.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Well, it's not all the same. That's the typical non-metalhead thing to say, but you're very limited.
Yeah.
I feel like with metal, everything has been done, but you have to do it a certain way or a different way than each other. Because metal, I mean, at this point, there's so many metal bands. It's hard to stand out at this point. And you really have to dig deep into whatever groove to really stand out. And it's hard, man. Especially as a small metal band, it's hard.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I think, that's like why I got so into music that wasn't metal, because when I would go to write metal, all I would do is accidentally copy songs that I already knew. So it was like, I've got to figure out a way to write with inspiration that's not just like, oh, here's the Hatebreed riff, but I'm playing it tuned down, like that's the last thing I ever want to do is that,
For
So
the
that's why I'm
record,
just like,
my mom is watching this podcast, and she said you have very good taste. She likes a lot of your music.
hell yeah, thank you, Mom.
I think that's what I'm most terrified about, like starting to finally become a musician, is like I think in riffs. So when I start finally playing again, I feel like I'll just copy shit. So I'm just going to play everyone else's shit for years until I can finally do something else.
I mean, there's definitely a way to do it without just blatantly copying, like I said,
Yeah.
it comes in ways. It was like, I wanted to be Neurosis, ISIS, Mastodon, and Suffocation. And I'm like, all right, this is what I like to do. How would I do it also if I was in Suffocation, And then, I don't know, you just kind of, you blend the little inspirations together.
Yeah, I get that. It's good stuff.
Do you pull any inspiration for your music from like other genres? Because I know I'm a huge rap fan, and I've heard so much influence from funk in the '70s, in rap throughout the '90s and early 2000s. What about yourself? What do you get?
Yeah, I love like all types of pop music, hip hop, indie rock. Like there's there's honestly like not a lot that I won't listen to, and that's because I think you could learn so much from every kind of music. Like even I listen to some country music now, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, when did this happen?
Corey got me into Sturgill Simpson, so I kind of have to own up to
fucking
that too.
Sturgill Simpson slaps, buddy.
Yeah, I was listening to Brothers Osborne the other day. I was like, how did I start doing this? But I'm like, well, their one guitar player plays a lot of tellies. I like tellies, so I guess I'll check it out.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, this stuff is sick. So yeah, I mean, when I do write metal, I make it a very specific point to not listen to metal surrounding it. And the reason I do that is because I one day literally wrote a Hatebreed song that already existed, and I didn't realize it until after I was done, and I was like, wait, this is Hatebreed. And then I played the Hatebreed song. I was like, that's the exact same song. So after that moment, I was like, if I'm in writing mode, I am only listening to like other genres. So yeah, I mean,
that's smart.
I'm like a very vibe guy, and I feel like hip hop especially has like a bigger vibe than most things, and you could really kind of like think yourself into that vibe and just kind of like immerse yourself in all of it, and then like so then I'm just like, how can I recreate the depth and the vibe of this hip hop or pop song, but with an 8-string guitar, you know?
That's something that pop music is really good at, which, as you know, I listen to a lot of metal, mostly metal. I'll be the first person to admit I'm that guy. But I will say something pop music is exceptional at, which I've had to like own up to, is it's really good at setting a mood and sticking to a mood and getting people hooked on it. And that's the point of it. That's why it's popular. It's how it gets popular. And trying to replicate that in like any form is so hard. It really is its own art form.
Yeah, absolutely. It's easy to listen to for a reason, and there's nothing wrong with something being easy and enjoyable to listen to, you know?
I mean, I've had One Direction stuck in my head more times than I want to admit. I'm going to say that right now.
I've been jamming that new Harry Styles record like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
you should admit it though. Just keep admitting it. It's the sickest shit.
It's
like,
catchy as fuck, dude.
Oh, it's so cool to like music. There's so much good music.
But elitism in metal. Elitism in metal. I mean,
it's the worst thing on the planet.
Yeah.
It's Stifles band. So it's fuck elitism, you know? Like, it's all sick.
Yeah. I mean, shit. I'm from Atlanta. One of my favorite groups ever is Outkast. I love Gucci Mane, but I'm in a metal band. Like, what the fuck? Like, I've been in some metal band with, actually, I don't know. I think it's mainly minorities, which is kind of cool. Being like in a predominantly white area and actually having like some Hispanic members in your group, which is pretty rare, especially down here. But like, dude, Atlanta's actually one of the most accepting places. But fuck. Oh, and getting back to the writing thing real quick, in metal, I found that so many bands are just trying to record breakdowns and toilet noises. Yeah. That they're losing. They're losing.
We're about to shit on breakdowns and toilet noises. You're coming at me. I'm just kidding.
Shit, man. I'm not even gonna get into how shitty metal musicians can be, though. But if I hear more. Like, breakdowns and toilet noises are fun, but God, they're played out right now. I can't listen to them.
Is that like a term of art or something? Toilet noises? Like,
I refer to like.
Listen to Signs of the Swarm. I love Signs of the Swarm, but they're exactly what Aaron is talking about.
So there's a local band to me. They're called Left to Suffer. They're pretty good. Group of great guys, but all it is weird robot noises on guitar, quads on the bass drum on the drums, and then toilet noises. And that's it. But they're blowing up, and I'm just like, fucking awesome. I'm glad they have their target audience. But like, I don't know. I guess I just don't like. I can actually fit the shapes and where they're going. Like, Caveman Slam is great and everything, but it's so hard to differentiate now.
Yeah, and I think the good ones always have something different, though. You know, like any band that like rises above from all the others that sound like them, there's a reason, you know? And it's probably because they're like, oh, Katy Perry and Taylor Swift, fuck, that's sick, you know? Like, or they're like, the Allman Brothers, yeah, that rules too, you know? Like, there's brothers. Yeah. I think, oh my God, I I know I'm rambling, but I hate so much when dudes are like, they try to shit on other things that people like, because it's like, my dog, there's so much cool music. Like there's, I don't know. There's so much cool shit, no matter if it's fucking Blink-182 or Dying Fetus or Khalid.
Yes.
Like Khalid is one of the coolest artists out there right now, and his live show has a full band and it rules. Like there's just cool shit everywhere, and you should listen to everything. I love it. It's so cool.
Yeah. I remember someone started bashing on AFI because of the way Davey Havoc looked. And they were like, oh, he looks like a girl. And I was like, oh, and then Miss Murder came on. He's like, oh, yeah, I like this song. I was like, do you now? Do you now?
Yeah.
God, I love just closed-mindedness and everything. Like, dude, just enjoy music for what it is. It doesn't, image is part of it, but just enjoy it.
People want to shit on Deftones because of the way Chino sings. And I'm like, you can't fucking sing like that. You can't do that.
One of the most unique voices ever in music.
God, I love it. Deftones helped shape me, I think.
Yeah, Deftones was my gateway into like metal that screamed, at least. There was always the Black Album, but like Deftones was where I was like, I feel this in my heart, and then I stole a White Pony CD.
Man,
I was a stereotypical kid. My gateway was Linkin Park and Disturbed. In middle school, I heard,
classic.
The ooh-wah, you hear that? It's life-changing, man.
So what got you into metal, not a junior?
My parents, they both love metal. Like my dad, he builds guitars and he is more heavily tattooed than I am. And then my mom is like super petite, pretty woman who is real quiet that you would never expect to listen to Cannibal Corpse, and she does. So like, I kind of just had no choice but to like metal.
That's awesome.
Honestly, that's one of the best intros I think anyone could have. I mean, shit.
I learned some cool stuff. They're not super old. Like I'm 27 and they're 50, I think just turning 51. So like they're definitely younger, but like all the cool 80s stuff, like Rat and Motley Crue and like Judas Priest, like that was all the like, those were like the bands that I started on, like Anthrax, Pantera, Slayer, like just that realm of metal, and then just kind of blossomed from there for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, shit, man. It doesn't matter where you start, but like where you end up is fucking awesome. Like the fact that you started like and you were given this like intro to metal, and then you branched out and now you're in, arguably one of the biggest bands of deathcore. Like it's fucking awesome how shit works out.
Well, hold on, don't call it deathcore.
Acacia strain is deathcore. Fucking fight me.
I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to disagree with you, but I'm not going to do anything about it. So go for it.
I always remember reading that interview where Vincent says, if someone calls us deathcore, I'm going to do not nice things to them. And I'm just
That's why I say it. That's why I say it. Why would I be so adamant to call them deathcore if I knew that it made someone happy?
There you go. I respect it.
Oh, man.
It's something else, though. I really do.
So we have to ask this question just because we are an airsoft podcast. Have you ever heard of airsoft and or played airsoft?
The extent of my airsoft experience is getting shot with an airsoft gun by my friend in 5th grade.
Right.
And then
you had the good experience. The rest is just a money pit.
Yeah. And then me and a bunch of my friends always had plans of like doing this big like paintball and airsoft trip, and we would like set up all these like courses in somebody's backyard and practice. And by practice, I mean I need to also like explain that I was in 5th grade during this. So like I was an idiot because you're an idiot when you're in 5th grade. But it was like it would be 10 degrees and snowing out, and the 10 of us were in someone's backyard just like hiding underneath trash cans and like pretending to fucking shoot airsoft guns or have them unloaded and just being like, I fucking got you, man,
That's awesome.
Well, I know if you ever wanted to hit an event, we would be more than happy to have you and as many of your friends as you wanted to bring. I'm sure we could outfit you with all the stupid gear you need.
All right,
That's
so
tight, yeah.
the amount that you have in guitar gear, we probably have in airsoft gear because we're that big of fucking nerds.
Which is, I mean, I'm looking at a portion of my gear right now going, why? So if that's the case for you guys with airsoft, that's one, crazy, two, honestly sick, because I think it's just awesome when people love stuff that they do. So badass on you guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just never work in the industry. Good God. I'm actually the manager of an airsoft store, so that's my main job. Metal is what I do as my hobby. So it's kind of cool to have like that as my go-to for, relaxation and stuff. Where I know music has stressed you out. Like I know tour's fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
But, being airsoft is my main job. Like, dude, airsoft stresses me out when these guys, they go out to their events and they love it. They're like, oh man, we go do this to unwind. I'm like, I want to claw my eyes out because I run these events. I do all that.
Yeah. That idea is crazy to me of like, that's how you guys unwind. Cause I get that like at the end of it, I'm sure you're like zen to the fuck out, but the idea of like in the middle of the act calling it the unwinding, I'm like, that's like, that's like me saying when I'm on stage, I'm unwinding. And that's the most like aggressive I have ever been in my life. So I'm just like, you unwind after that.
It's the type 2 fun, it's the fun that's really fun afterward.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when you go for a run or a big long bike ride where you're like, fuck yeah, I'm tired and I'm relaxed now because it's all gone from me.
Yeah, you're just working it all out. It's like being in a mosh pit, In the mosh pit, you're just working it all out. You're getting it out of your system. You're getting your aggression out. And after it, assuming you didn't break your knee in it like I do, but afterward, you're super happy.
Looking at a mosh pit, I've never been in a mosh pit. Like your guys' show was my first show until I ended up blacking out at like first metal show. And I looked at the mosh pit and I'm like, that is so many potential insurance premiums that I just don't want to have to be a part of. I am.
Oh, trust me, I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, fuck that. Like people are always like who do you pit for? I'm like, I don't. I stand in the back and try not to break my hand. Like,
I am actually retired from mosh pits now officially. This is my second major injury in a mosh pit, and I officially have to retire. So pour one out for Eric.
Yeah, I'm a hit F, super F for Eric. I don't know, dude. I'm trying to enjoy my youth. I'm still somersaulting off stage at the Kubla Khan. I'm still trying to have fun. But good God, man, when I get
good
hurt.
On you, because I want people like you to do that. I just don't want any part in it.
Hey, it's like being a hype man. You always need it. You always need it.
There you go. I appreciate your hype.
Yeah, after fucking 13 concussions, I think I'm clocked out from mosh pits. But
one concussion would be like, why? No, why am I doing this? Like, that's insane. You're nuts. That's awesome.
Well, I didn't get it from mosh pits. I got it from wrestling, the army, and football.
Oh, okay. I thought it was all like from pitting. I was like,
oh god, no.
I was in there with a helmet now, dog.
Yeah. Show up with like a ProTech bike helmet that's rated for impact. And
there you go.
Yeah.
Wearing sparring gear.
One concussion, and it was to Betraying the Martyrs cover of Let It Go, and I will never forget that. Aside from the part where I did forget, that was the most embarrassing fucking time to get a concussion. Like during a band's cover of Let It Go, I was like, "Fuck."
But yeah, I got hilarious.
It was lights out.
I'll have to tell that story to my brother because my brother had a period of time when he was single where he would kill a 6-pack of Guinness and watch Let It Go from front to back every single night.
Oh my God. Well, I have a quick question. Do you still enjoy yourself? Like, do you have fun on stage? Do you still have fun playing shows?
Yeah. That is the most fun thing ever. Even when the show sucks. It's still like even when it sucks, it's like, this is a bummer, but at the very least, it's like, all right, I'm playing guitar. Like, I might not want to perform, but I'm still playing guitar, because it's all I care about doing in reality is like, I care about hanging out with my fiance and our dog, and then I care about playing guitar. And that's really all I care about on this planet.
Yeah. That's a perfect then. That was my main question. Cause as you grow as an artist and you start to do it for a living and you're touring all the time, I was afraid of it losing its shine. I mean, obviously is it going to be like the first time you ever played a show? Fuck no, but it's still going to be enjoyable. So that
it's kind of weird. I think I'm actually enjoying it in some ways more the more I do it. I don't know if it's just that I get this like I have this confidence of like, oh wow, I'm like I did it. I kind of did something cool, or if it's like I'm growing more brain dead. Like I don't really. It's one or the other.
Or a little bit of both.
Or a combo of both. Yeah. But I mean it's tour dependent also. Like some shows, like there's some tours where even though it's awesome, you don't feel it the same way. Where I'm like, all right, I could go home and it'd be tight. But then there's other ones where I'm like, the last thing I ever want to do is stop this tour. But yeah, I mean it's up and down. But overall, like I still think about playing on stage every single day of my life, and I hope I can do that again. You know, but yeah, it's tight. It's playing shows is still sick.
Yeah, so that like I was actually gonna say because we were talking about kind of what we do to unwind. What do you do to unwind usually? Like what's kind of your outside of metal, outside of guitar hobby thing? Like I know you have a podcast actually. If you want to mention that real quick, or not real quick, take your time.
Yeah, I have a podcast that definitely doesn't unwind me. If anything, it stresses me out more, and I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this? Yeah, but
sorry, Ian.
It's fun to talk to my friends about songs, and that's what it's all about. It's called Riftfield Land. If you look it up on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, anybody watching who gives a shit to hear about something that's not airsoft who's listening to this.
We're going to put a link to this in the description, and
okay.
Yeah, we're definitely going to promote that podcast because, again, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, but yeah, like I like doing that, but like I guess if I had like a hobby, it would be I'm like super crazy into movies, and like I feel like it sounds lazy to be like, oh, I love movies and TV, but like I get like real nerdy about it, and I've got a few friends.
I feel you.
Yeah, I got a few friends who like we've got these group chats where we like break down movies and like or like I have like a group chat with people that we just talk about Twin Peaks on, and I think
Twin Peaks.
I think me,
nice.
Yeah, I think me and a buddy of mine, I don't want to say who, he's in another sick band, but I think we're actually going to start a podcast about just movies where every week we like talk about a movie that we both really love that maybe the other one hasn't seen and just talk about why it's sick. Like there's too many podcasts that are like, this sucks, let's watch this. But I'm like, we just want to be like, everything that we talk about is fun and awesome. So there you go. Yeah. But yeah, so my like unwinding is definitely movies and TV. Like I have like a million different streaming things where I could watch a billion movies. And then, I mean, as far as TV goes, I pretty much just rewatch Twin Peaks and The Office every other month. But
There you go.
Office is
but yeah, it's like any sick movie, The Office, Twin Peaks. Those are my hobbies, I would say. And then like doing house stuff with my fiance and dog. But as far as like me focused, it's music and then movies and TV. That's my shit.
Oh, yeah. I can't knock that at all. Honestly, that sounds like the life.
I was an English major, man, and I took visual storytelling classes and stuff and screenwriting.
Yeah.
So if anyone can appreciate nerding out about cinema and TV, I can definitely understand.
Hell,
Yeah.
we kind of make it.
Kinda.
It's bad, like
Kinda.
shitty, ridiculous media, but it's funny.
Boys and
It's
all
fun.
quality, but goodness gracious, it's fun to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think like visual, like movies and TV, it's like, here's every kind of art, you know? So let's figure out how to make it all work together.
Well,
So that's why I'm just like, that rule.
Writing, it's music, it's visual storytelling, it's cinematography, it's acting. Like, there's so much that goes into a really good production that when it comes together to form a really good movie, like Corey had me watch Hereditary and Midsummer this last weekend, and like,
So fucking good.
right? Those
Amazing.
two movies are incredible. So watching
So
those with like an analytical eye, it's like, ooh, this is exciting.
He was
Yeah.
pointing out shit to me, and I'd seen both the movies like 4 times, and I'm like, how do you just fucking see that? Like, screw you, man.
But it's funny because the first time I saw Hereditary, I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. And I fucking hated it.
It's
And
definitely
because
that type
everybody was like, this is the scariest movie ever. And I'm obsessed with horror movies. Like that's, I guess, my main genre. But I was like,
too.
yeah, I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way this mainstream release is the greatest horror movie ever. So I went into it being like waiting for it to blow my mind. And when it didn't do what I thought it was going to do, I was like, that sucks ass. And then, like, every one of my friends who likes good movies are like, that's one of the coolest movies ever made. I was like, I got to try it again. And then I was fucking mind blown by it. So yeah, and Midsummer might be the coolest movie ever made. So I fully back both of those.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of horror and H.P. Lovecraft, especially, you know, those types of weird tales and cosmic horror, which is a huge part of why I loved It Comes in Waves. And so obviously those two stories very much appeal to my love of that style of thing.
Yeah.
So you were briefly mentioning that you really like the conglomeration of various forms of media into movies. What's your favorite original soundtrack from a movie or soundtrack from a movie that you've seen?
You know, it's funny. I didn't get like as deeply like analytical or like focused, like hyper focused on movies like I was or until recently, like within the last 2 years. That's when, like, I've always loved watching movies, but it was like I didn't really like dive into them. But now that's like I focus a lot on everything. I really love the score of, I honestly, maybe Hereditary is my favorite score recently because it's so abrasive and it comes out of nowhere, and it's like it feels like I hate movies with jump scares, and I love that there's not a lot of jump scares, but to me the music is the jump scare. Like it
subverts
we're gonna be dead silent. Yeah, we're gonna be dead silent, and then here's this massive tone that just sends chills down your spine.
Or like
and then
a heartbeat in that, like a faint heart in the background. There's certain scenes where you're like, oh, I don't like this.
It's very subtly unsettling, and it knows exactly what tones to hit to unsettle you in the right way at the right moments. And it especially does it like when you think there's going to be a jump scare and there isn't. And it's brilliant. It reminds me of the soundtrack from The Thing, which is another incredible soundtrack.
Another one of my favorite ones. Anything John Carpenter has a sick like score. You know, that's always, he's known for his scores and everything. So The Thing is another one that's up for me for sure.
That is probably my favorite movie ever. I adore The Thing.
I actually didn't see it until a few months ago, and I was like, this movie is 30 something years old, and it still like stands up to the time period, not just story wise, but like the technology and the time period. It's like this could have been made last year, and it's all practical effects, and it's insane.
Practical effects in that movie are top notch. It's one of my faves, definitely.
Insane.
The movie that I go to a lot, the two movies, is Prometheus and Alien Covenant. And I know the story isn't the best,
but
be
really bad.
The atmosphere of those movies are incredible. And I love trying to get that feeling back that, like, the first time I saw it. Mm-hmm. And I just love thinking about that too. Like the whole idea of creation, like, but it goes.
That's why you should read some H.P. Lovecraft, man.
I read all of it. I read all of H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, he's really good at that, which is actually a question I kind of wanted to ask. I'm sorry, like circling a little to music, because I'm such a huge fan of It Comes in Waves and I love cosmic horror and H.P. Lovecraft. Was there a deliberate, like, cosmic horror influence on that album, or was that just kind of a side effect of the concept?
I think it was just kind of like a side effect of the concept. I think the artwork definitely, like, leads you more to that idea, but it
definitely
wasn't like...
suggests it.
Yeah, it wasn't like this is our intention. I think it was just kind of like a happy perk or like a happy side effect, like you said, that it kind of gives that vibe off.
Yeah, and I love that vibe, so naturally I was really happy about it.
Awesome.
Speaking of album art and like how it can lead you in a certain direction, like each Acacia Strain album, depending on the color of it, it really affects my mood and when I'm listening to that. So like Grave Bloom is like a late summer album for me. It's weird. And then it's like Death is the Only Mortal. I'm obsessed with Death is the Only Mortal right now because it's like the heat of summer and like the artwork is on a beach. So I'm just like ripping that. And then Coma Witch is like a springtime album. And then Continent is like a winter album. It's just, and then It Comes in Waves is a winter album to me. So it's, I don't know. Like I'm easily pleased.
Who did the artwork for Decay is an incredible artist. I'm sorry, I'm totally blanking on his name. Do you remember his name, Corey?
I don't. It's something.
Wait, slow decay or it comes in waves? I forget.
Slow decay.
That's Kalen. Oh my god, I gotta look it up because I always forget his name, and I feel like such an asshole, especially because I'm the one who found him for the record.
Oh my god, his artwork is incredible.
I love it.
Kalen Stockerman, yeah.
Shout out to you, Kalen.
Yeah, that's his Instagram name too, Kalen Stockerman Art. Definitely check him out because, oh man, incredible.
Yeah,
like how to capture the New England area just like in fucking album artwork, and I love it. I can't get out of the Northeast. I love it up here because it's so pretty and so scary at the same time. And I think that really captures that.
Yeah, I left the Northeast, so I guess I'm a traitor, but I totally feel what you mean.
Well, because the Acacia strain started in Massachusetts. I mean, obviously you weren't there when it started, but I mean, now I imagine like everyone. It's been 20 years since that band originally started, so I'm sure everyone's like spread out and gone all their own different places.
Yeah, we either say now that we're from America, which I mean that's just obvious, or we say Albany, New York, even though only one of us lives in Albany.
Amazing.
But it's like it doesn't matter. None of us live everywhere, so it doesn't even matter where we're from. We're there right then, you know.
Oh man. Were there any other? I'm sorry, Corey. You had the question sheet. Were there any other burning questions we wanted to get to, or did we go?
I think that I don't know. It's gone so well and so natural with what we've talked about. Like I just that's why I just write like fucking 9 or 12 questions because.
Well, this is how we know the man has his own podcast because he's so good at this type of free-form discussion on air.
That's how it should be. I can't stand like interviews or podcasts that's like rigid. It's like you're just talking to people.
Neither do I. Yeah, neither do I. I just do it as like, what are we going to talk about? Maybe. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they usually go so far off the rails, and we hit so many different things or miss different things.
Yeah.
But it's fine; it all works out.
Like, just start calling Aaron Florida Man, right?
Yeah,
that's what we did last time.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Yeah, that goes back to when Aaron and I met. That's funny.
Yeah. So apparently, like, I'm from Georgia, right? But apparently, I look like a Florida man, so
yeah,
I can live with that.
I also thought
the mustache is new. Fuck. Man,
you do kind of right now, especially like give me hold the American flag in the hurricane while blaring "Raining Blood" vibes. So that would absolutely.
I don't know if you were to hold an American flag in the middle of a storm, blaring music, what would it be? I feel like that's a good question.
That is a great question. That's fucking great.
Mine would definitely be Celine Dion. My Heart Will Go On. Fuck yes.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler.
That's a very good one.
Or the Magnum, but that's just me.
I don't even have an answer for that. I think I'm not a big fan of the state of this country right now, so I'd probably just put the flag somewhere else and walk in the rain. I'd probably just like give it to someone else, be like, you can do that, and I'll go watch The Office again, you know.
The Canadian national anthem, of course.
Yeah, I'll play that or some shit.
Dan doesn't even know why he just got excited because he's a little behind us, but he heard that subconsciously and he got excited.
Started to smell maple syrup and the mooses started to make whatever noise they make.
I can't think off the top of my head what sound a moose makes, and that concerns me. Sort of like an elk.
I mean, it probably sounds like Tyler Shelton from Traders.
I don't know. Try more Chino Marino, actually.
All right, shut up, wildlife nerd.
Fuck you, man.
Honestly, I feel like Molotov Solution would be a good one to hold the flag up to.
That's pretty solid. They hate America too, so that works.
That's the point.
I like it.
I miss those guys. I miss Nick Arthur. I met him and he was one of the sweetest men I've ever met in my life. Metal guys, I feel like good metal musicians are some of the nicest motherfuckers every single time.
Well, I don't know Nick Arthur very well, and I I'm sure he is very sweet, but the last time that I was around him, he knocked somebody out on purpose for us. So that was pretty tight. Because so a security guard was like attacking people, and Nick just ran up and knocked him out. I was like, fuck yeah, this dude rules. So,
but he did it for a good reason. So
there you go. The dude
my
was
point
trying
stands.
to choke Vincent, and he elbowed some kid. So we made sure that the security guard was not there anymore.
Amazing.
That's actually a good question. Is what would be? I mean, for us, obviously, one of our coolest moments, with metal and the metal scene is having you here on this podcast with us, which. Thank you again. But what would be like one of your coolest favorite moments, like kind of in the metal scene? Like what would be one of the things that just one of those experiences you had that made you think, yeah, this is like what I want to be playing and be doing?
I'm gonna take a liberty with that story.
Absolutely.
Where it's not gonna be like a moment where I was like, yeah, this is what I should be doing, but I'll give you a moment where my brain was like, how did I get here? It was my first tour with the Acacia Strain. It was us and Dying Fetus. First off that alone, I was like, what the fuck? I'm playing in one of my favorite bands, and Dying Fetus is one of my favorite death metal bands ever. But we were playing at the Old Masquerade, and there was like a bathroom, the tiny little green room bathroom. I had clogged the toilet.
Oh no.
It's the Old Masquerade. It happens.
Hold on. We're not there yet. That's just the base of the mountain. I also love the Chariot. They're one of my favorite bands ever. And it was the first time that I got to meet Stevis from the Chariot. So as Stevis walks in and I'm being introduced to him, I have a plunger in my hand and I go, hello, I will be right back. And then 5 feet away from him, I'm plunging the shit that I clogged the toilet with. And then when that didn't work, Sean from Dying Fetus took the plunger out of my hand and then went to go plunge my shit. And I went, what is going on with my life that this is happening right now?
Dude, that's friendship right there.
That's amazing.
Some people think that's an embarrassing story, but I think it's funny as fuck. And I'm like, yeah, that's insane. One of my favorite death metal singers ever tried to fix a toilet that I broke. Pretty insane. So that's my funniest, like, how did I get here moment? But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have a good serious one. It's all just kind of cool. I have a very fortunate ride, so I'm very blessed to do what I did. But that was one of those things where I was like, wow. This is one of those tour stories I want to remember.
Yeah, definitely can appreciate that. I'm glad we have that story on record. Oh man, that's great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's very fitting for the Old Masquerade too. I miss that place. It was this old.
Right,
it's
Aaron,
this old Excelsior mill. It's old Excelsior mill. It had three venues in it. Complete fucking shithole, but God, I loved it. That was where the best metal shows I've ever experienced have happened.
I feel like every good metal show is like kind of a crappy venue. Like I think the nicest venue I've been to for a metal show is Darien Lake, and it was like for Knotfest. And Darien Lake is Darien Lake. And then there's a venue in Connecticut I went to that looks like it was a very nice nightclub circa 1970. And then it is, Shadow of Intent and Signs of the Swarm co-headlining. And I'm just like, oh, well, this is a great show, but man, this bar looks like there were a lot of rails done off it at some point.
I saw Torch and Baroness at the Town Ballroom in Buffalo, and that was the most comfortable I've ever been at a show.
That's awesome.
The drinks were amazing, and I've never heard, I don't think I've ever heard a louder band than Torch. Like those guys.
That is what everyone I know says.
They're fucking insane. Their stacks were like to the sky. It was ridiculous. I loved it. I'm a huge fan of them right now. I think I don't know, 2019, 2018, and even 2020 have been such good years for metal. Like so much good shit has come out. And I found so much shit.
My record of the year last year, yeah. The record's insane.
It's just crazy.
The Torch was your record of the year for 2019?
Mm-hmm.
What's your record of the year so far for 2020? Let's get this from Aaron.
There you go.
Yeah.
Slow Decay? Oh, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear the 2 unreleased tracks.
One of them is maybe my favorite Acacia Strain song ever written. So
Damn.
yeah, that's setting too much of an expectation, but it will be the most fun live song we ever play. So I'm really excited for that.
Well, I look forward to when we can see it live then.
Yeah, you'll know exactly what it is because you'll hear it and you'll go, that's the one that he's talking about.
I think Eric and I shit our fucking pants when you guys played Above at that
Oh my God.
the last first show you guys played.
I don't even
that was
remember
insane.
playing that. We almost never play that song.
I know, which is why it was so cool
Yeah.
when you played it, because I have this weird fantasy Acacia Strain show where you guys play every weird single that you guys have ever made, like Servant, The Place of Truth, Above, Below, all that weird stuff that you never hear live, and I love so many of those.
Yeah, we try to play Above. That's probably our favorite song to play, but everybody just stands there with their mouth hanging open, like, what the fuck is this? Because it's not on a record. So it's like we
Scrubs.
almost
They're
every
unworthy.
tour start playing it, and then by the third show, we're like, okay, we're cutting this song and we're not playing it anymore.
I'm sad to see that Death is the Only Mortal doesn't have more like songs played off that, because like, dude,
I don't know
June
what that record
Blade.
is.
Oh,
What is
fucking
that?
brain death.
I don't know what you're
What
talking
is
about.
that record?
What is that?
I don't know what you're talking about. What is Death is the Only Mortal? It's not
wait.
our record.
Wait.
The record is Death is the Only Immortal. That's
Yeah.
I know, but it's not one of our records. We don't play songs off that for a reason. That's what I'm getting at.
Oh yeah.
I hear what you
gotcha.
said.
Why you gotta confuse me like that, bro?
It's
My
one of
brain
our
just-
records. It's one of our records. We play a song off of it, but we do not like to play that record, so we don't play that record.
Fair enough.
gotcha.
Got me there.
Yeah.
But as a music nerd,
It's not like a someone owns the songs. It's just we don't want to play that record, so we don't.
I can't blame you for that. We all have those songs.
Yeah,
But
Fair
we
enough.
just have gotten to a point where we pretend that that's not a record.
Damn.
I hear you.
Well, I mean, Coma Witch is incredible, and you guys play a lot off Coma Witch, so I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, I like playing all those songs.
same with Grave
Definitely.
Bloom. Grave Bloom was fucking. It was impressive. Grave Bloom was
Yeah.
fucking impressive, especially with
songs
all like
don't-
the
They don't
thrashier.
work very live well for some reason. I think it's because it's like a lot of Doom influence that like they're kind of more vibey, you know, so they don't always work. But then Feed a Pigeon could have been on Grave Bloom, and that worked out perfect live. So I'm just like, I don't know what I don't fucking know anymore. You know, like, you can't expect.
I think it also depends a little bit on like the vibe of the particular group of Acacia Strain fans in an audience, because I mean there is a little bit of like a difference in Acacia Strain fans. Like there are the guys who are like everything after 3750 is bad, and then there's the
which
and
is
I don't.
insanity to me because I think everything before that was bad, and I think 3750 is kind of bad also, even though I love that record, but it's also kind of bad.
Let me put it this way: I like 3750, I like And Life Is Very Long, and I like The Dead Walk. I don't like them enough to pay the prices for their vinyls. I own the rest of your discography, so like
Yeah.
that's kind of where I draw the line on where I started to love the Acacia Strain.
Yeah, I consider our first record the Dead Walk. And Life Is Very Long and 3750 are tight, but I don't think that's a good representation of the band at all.
Yeah, there's some people who really don't, and I don't know why. There's some people who are like, oh, I only like the hardcore sound of the Acacia Strain, which I say, well, they never really lost that. They just gained these other elements that, to me, make it more interesting and generally better.
I think that's a thing with just creative bands in general. Like Mastodon's a good example. Like their early stuff, there's some fans that are like, that's the best shit they ever did. That's the heaviest shit in the world. That's groundbreaking. It was this mix of hardcore and sludge and all this weird shit. And then you look at people who hated Crack the Sky and that prog almost.
There's people that hate
sludge
Crack the Sky.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't.
It's more like people really don't like The Hunter, and I think The Hunter is a great album.
I think that record gets a shit a shitty review because it came right after Crack the Sky, and everybody wanted Crack the Sky, but you can't do that twice right in a row. I mean, maybe you can. I think if there's one band that can do that twice in a row, it's Mastodon, but they weren't trying to do Crack the Sky Part 2. They were just doing another record. But yeah, but I get what you're saying with like where like your fan base changes how the songs go over. And then, I mean, for us too, since we have so much music, it's like the tour itself has a big thing to play in it. Like when we're out with like a hardcore package, it's like we're not going to play Observer, you know, ever. But if we were to go out with like, if we were to go out with like Sleep or Neurosis, we'd probably play it, you know, like it just kind of depends on the crowd also.
That would be sick. That's my dream right there.
It was cool to see the writing style change. Like when DL was, you know, left the band, when he was in the band and everything, like to go from Wormwood to Gravebloom or Coma Witch, that transition, because we're ignoring the album that doesn't exist.
There we go. I appreciate it.
To watch that transition, because the sound changed so much, but it was still the same core. And to kind of notice that as someone who had been listening to the band for so long, that was one of my favorite things that could have happened to Acacia Strain, because I was worried when DL left.
Yeah,
but whatever happened.
I think, I don't know if it was because like the first stuff without him, I was like working on the engineering side. Like I did work on like Above Below and then Coma Witch were like the first two without DL that I was, maybe it was like a bias, but I was like, oh, I'm seeing these songs be created. I appreciate them more. But when I'm like, I don't know, like I don't, as much as I love as much as I love Continent and Wormwood, and as much as I respect DL, and I would never speak in a disrespecting way toward him, but I cannot comprehend the like he is the band thing, because they're riffs and breakdowns. Like he didn't reinvent the wheel, and not like we're reinventing the wheel, but I never understood the like this one man on this planet is capable of this style. And I don't know, that like I will always respect DL. I've never met him in person, but I have chatted with him a bunch online, and he has had nothing but nice things to say to me and the band now. But I've just been like, why is like the whole entity of this band rest on one guy's shoulders who stopped touring with them in 2008, and people still think like the people were coming up to us on the Continent tour being like, oh, it's such a bummer DL couldn't be here. It's like, why the fuck would he be? He's been out of the band for 12 years. Like, why would he be here? You know?
Everybody has moved on at this point. The band has gone different directions. DL has this great career that he's doing. Like,
he's set. He's not missing it as much as the people are for some reason missing him with it. But I will say that with Slow Decay, there has not been one single comment of band needs DL, and that was my personal whole motivation of I want to shut these people up. Like that was my whole idea with writing Slow Decay, like especially because it comes in ways just so weird. I was like, fuck it. I know people are gonna say the band needs a DL when it comes to waves coming out. I want them to eat their words with this, and I have not seen one comment of band needs DL.
So did the reaction to It Comes in Waves surprise you at all? Because I feel like that generally got very positive press.
I think I said it before. I was expecting for our career to be over. Like I was like, this is the last thing I'm going to do with this band. That's fine. We went out on something that we were passionate about, but the positive response, I was like, what the fuck? Like when I saw you guys' video, I was like, do people really like this much? Like this is crazy. That's cool.
It blew our fucking minds. We were just out of this world, and
I'm glad.
I gotta say, like, I didn't really seriously become a big fan until Gravebloom. So going back and listening to all the old stuff was super cool, and I love it. But like, Gravebloom and Forward is the band that I know, and that's you guys.
Yeah.
And like,
and that's like I keep describing It Comes in Waves as, while it's the least Acacia Strain, it's the most Acacia Strain, because that was like, that record is us five as like, that is us as people, not just as the Acacia Strain. That's like the record that we poured our personalities into. And every time I say that, I feel like I have to give the disclaimer, like, that doesn't mean that everything else we write isn't us, or that we don't pour our hearts into it, but it's like that was the time where we went nothing, like our fan base doesn't matter for this record. We're putting it out because this is what we want to do, you know, and that's not in like a fuck you to the fans. It's like we want to do something, and who likes it, who doesn't like it. If you don't like it, congrats. You have another record coming out in 3 months, you know, like that was the thing for it.
It's a taste breaker. That's all it is. It was something, you know, after it's to break up monotony in a way, but it also, you guys wanted to put out something that was you in an album, not the Acacia strain, but it was you.
Yeah.
So that's one of the most respectable things to see one artist do. It's like from another artist to an artist, that is so respectable. You don't understand.
Thank you.
And I totally
appreciate that, man.
that
I really
too,
do.
because if you're not making something that you put your all into, people are gonna hear it. Like, if you created an album instead of It Comes in Waves, or maybe if you'd moved on to make something else before making It Comes in Waves, and you just didn't feel like your hearts were in it because you felt like you couldn't do something you really wanted to do, I feel like that would have been what ended your career, is when people can tell you're not passionate about it anymore. People can tell you don't care. That's when people think, oh, well, okay, they lost it. Whereas I hear an artist do something different, and, you know, understanding it in my own dumb, totally minor way of like doing this dumb YouTube thing. Like, if you make things you don't necessarily want to make, you just phone it in, people can tell, and it's real obvious.
It's so obvious. Yeah. The amount of bands that I have seen or toured with where I'm like, wow, you are just playing a role up there right now. And it's a bummer when you can tell when that happens. But yeah, I think that was like we needed to get that record out for the sake of like Aaron, you said, like kind of like breaking up the monotony. Like I don't think that there was like a stagnant point in the band, but I think it was like, it's the right time for something new to come out of the band, you know?
Yeah, and I actually think that record earned you some like newer fans, because I've definitely talked to people who weren't huge Acacia strain fans and heard that and were like, wait, they could do this now.
Yeah, like our buddy Harlan. Like our buddy Harlan's a huge black metal guy, and then we showed him that, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Like he was so pumped. One of the like the first validations that I had for that record was the singer of Full of Hell listened to it like way before, even before it was even mixed. And he like, cause it was put out through Closed Casket, and Full of Hell's on Closed Casket also. And he said that it was one of the coolest things he'd ever heard in his life. And I was like, that dude likes crazy weird music. If he likes this, like for a band that like, we kind of have this polarizing thing where like, we're weird enough to not fit in with mainstream shit, but not weird enough to fit in with like the fully avant-garde stuff. But for him to be like, this is sick, I was like, all right, people who know true art and know like breaking out of your comfort zone and trying something, and we're like, all right, yeah, that's sick. And for him to say that, I was like, okay, I'm confident. I'm confident that at least people who want to understand it will understand it, you know?
Yeah. And I want to shout out to Kevin on that album too. The fucking drums were phenomenal. They were so well written.
Yeah.
So I think
there was nothing on that album that was slacking. The drums, both the guitars, the bass, the vocals, just the entire thing. Ah, man, you've seen our hour and a half long stupid video of it.
Yeah. The coolest thing to me about that record, not only like just the material, is the way like we recorded it on tour in Airbnbs. We got together a week before the Knock Loose tour that we did last year. Kevin tracked drums 2 days before we left on it, and then every day off that we had, we would get to an Airbnb. I was in school at the time, so I would do homework for 4 or 5 hours, and then the rest of the day I would set up my little recording rig and track all the guitars all day. So it was like my days off were like 10,000 times more stressful than my days to play a show.
That is insane.
Yeah. And
thanks for doing it. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I listen to it front to back all the time, because that's how it should be enjoyed.
It can't get out of my CD player for some reason. I'm not sure. Just can't get it out.
That was actually the first vinyl record I bought, was It Comes in Waves. That was the first vinyl record I bought. And then the rest of it, I just bought all the rest of your discography, basically, and all of Gojira, so.
That's funny, because I got to also get a copy of It Comes in Waves. And when we got them sent to us for the tour, I was like, oh, fuck. And I grabbed a couple of them.
I actually see you've got a vinyl framed behind you. Are you a vinyl collector, or is it just like?
No, that's I have a few vinyl from like the first records that I ever worked on. Like I've got like that Tragedy Will Find Us, Counterparts. The first record I ever produced and wrote with the band was Like Moths to Flames on a record. And I have Suburban Scum and No Bragging Rights, because those are just a couple other records I got to work on like right when I first started. But yeah, I've got like 15 vinyl that I was either gifted or stole from my own band. I wanted to be a big vinyl dude, but I was like, I don't have enough fucking money for this. That's an expensive hobby.
Oh yeah. Yeah. God.
It can be, but it.
So tell me, I have a burning question. Yeah. Did you like Structures? Like, did you like being in Structures? Because that was one of the most slept on bands I've ever encountered. Because Divided by and fucking Life Through a Window or whatever.
Yeah.
Those were two of the strongest albums that I was like into death metal and deathcore a lot. And then Volumes and Structures, of course, the two. Mm-hmm. Those were what got me more into like a progressive like style of music. And just I never realized that you had a part in that, and so that's blowing my mind.
I had nothing to do with the writing. It was like I was feeling dude.
Even that you're associated though, that's just like it's fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, I think they got screwed real bad by their fan base, because their fans loved Divided By, and then they put out Life Through a Window, which in reality was Architects before Architects became what they are now. And people just didn't get it. It was like, I think it was too ahead of its time, honestly.
That's the best way I could put it, because Life Through a Window was musically brilliant. It was absolutely, if you slow it down and take it piece by piece, it's one of the strongest albums I can recall. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Man, I fucking miss that band.
Me too.
That's how I feel about the Human Abstract.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
That's how I feel about the Human Abstract.
Oh yeah.
Their album Digital Veil, we never got a proper follow-up. Real tragedy.
Same with King Conquer.
What's a band that you miss desperately? What would be a band that if you could snap your fingers, you do the opposite of the Thanos and you bring him back?
Fuck. Soundgarden. 100% Soundgarden.
We talking like old bands or like bands?
Any band, no limits.
Oh, well then Pantera at that point. Or maybe like Metallica 1986.
Ooh.
Like they could not be Metallica now. They could be Metallica 1986.
Not say Anger Metallica.
Yeah, or I mean, I went and saw them last year and I left early. So anything after 1986.
Yikes.
Or I mean, if we're talking like more relevant bands that like could become this, I would love to see the Red Chord again. But it's also weird and touchy because their singer's a cop now, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about you. But as far as like musically, love the Red Chord. I think they were a band that was so far ahead of their time. I wish the Red Chord was still a thing. I wish ISIS. ISIS is absolutely the band that I wish was still together. 100,000,000%. I wish ISIS was still a band. They are, yes, there's my answer. I would probably say them over Pantera even, just because I think Pantera now would not be sick, and I think ISIS now would be sick.
Fair enough.
That's a strong answer.
that name is not aged well, though. I will say that.
Even though that they have not been a band for 10 years, they went back to every social media they have and changed it to ISIS the band. because it aged so poorly.
Yeah, happens sometimes. That happens.
Yeah.
Man, so Red Chord, that's a big one for me, because 7th grade me skipped the second day of school to go see Slipknot, Mayhem Fest 2008. I get there and the Red Chord is playing, and
I went to that tour also. That was sick.
Dude, my mind was blown, because that was the first time I ever saw Suicide Silence. First time I saw Red Chord. I watched one song of Five Finger Death Punch, immediately left. You can listen to what you want to listen to, but And
I thought that I was in like 9th grade when 5 Finger Death Punch came out. I thought that first record was cool, and I would probably still listen to it.
That first record was actually really fucking good.
man,
It's
I just
super MMA, but it's still kind of tight.
Well, I was super into MMA at the time, so I was like, these are
There
our
you
fucking
go.
guys, I guess.
Yeah.
Throw my tap out T-shirt.
headstrong, I'll suck you off. We'll get into trap later because that was the funniest fucking Twitter thing I've seen in probably the past 3 years.
Continues to be, but
Fuck. But yeah, Red Chord, I forgot about them for a minute, and that just brought back a wave of nostalgia. So
I
thank
have
you.
an embarrassing confession to make. My first concert was Aaron Carter. So there you
No
go.
fucking shame.
That single, the Aaron's House or Aaron's Party, whatever.
Aaron's
I had
Party.
it in like 1st grade, and that single slaps. So I back that. That is awesome. Me and my fiance literally were listening to that record.
I'm actually a
like
year
a week
older
ago.
than you, so I think I was in 2nd grade when that came out. So there we go.
There you go. Yeah,
Kelly Clarkson was
it.
my
Cool.
first. My first concert, Kelly Clarkson.
That's sick. I would love to go see Kelly Clarkson now. That's fucking awesome.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
She can do whatever the fuck she wants. And then I saw Willie Nelson was the second one, and then Rob Zombie, and then shit got fucking weird.
Very solid first shows.
It was
I went
amazing.
from Run the Jewels to Kesha, and I had a great
That's
time at Kesha.
Yo, I love Kesha. Kesha is so sick.
That's what
That-
I'm saying, it, dude. Kesha, Die Young. Oh, let's go to war music for me, man. That's a bang.
So sick.
I remember.
Yeah, let's fucking talk more mainstream music. That's the cool shit. Kesha, Khalid, Kelly Clarkson is fucking awesome.
Lady
All of
Gaga,
it.
mm.
So sick.
I'm still
Lady Gaga.
I'm still your stereotypical guy who's like, oh, I don't listen to that much rap, but I listen to Run the Jewels and Eminem. People say Eminem has gotten corny, but I still like him.
Open your mind up, man.
I know. Run the Jewels album was really good, so I've actually been trying. Like, I've been listening more Kendrick Lamar lately. Kendrick Lamar is incredible.
So
Kendrick
sick.
slaps.
And
I
Joyner
love
Lucas is, as someone who studied English in college, Joyner Lucas's lyricism is on a level of intelligence that I don't think any poet could top.
That's awesome. I don't know much from him, but I believe that. That's awesome.
What about any like present day like up and coming or pretty big pop stars? Like, dude, any names or like anything come to mind that's like they're fucking amazing or like anything like that?
I love the Japanese House. That's
Dude,
like
1975 and Japanese House are fucking phenomenal. Thank you.
Yeah. Love
My
the
girlfriend
Japanese
got me into those so hard.
Yeah, 1975 is sick. I'm trying to think of like smaller ones that are like less known. This isn't like pop. This is way more like indie. But this dude, Keenan O'Meara, he's from Massachusetts, super unknown. You look him up on Spotify. He's got this. I think it's called. Oh god, what's it called? It's called like Animals or something. I can look it up while I'm saying it. But he is sick. My favorite artist, my favorite band ever in life is Bon Iver. And he is like, Keenan O'Meara is like Bon Iver, but less experimental and more just like straightforward, sad person music. But he, ooh. Oh my
Then
God.
you got Joji, who used to be Filthy Frank. You know, that's always funny to
Joji.
watch.
Yeah.
Awful Creature, that's the name of the EP. That's the one. From Keenan O'Meara. Shit rules.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1975 is they got big. Tame Impala got big, but they're fucking
Impala,
phenomenal.
yeah.
That's good vibe music. Like
Yeah.
I
I have a soft spot for Billie Eilish for vibe music.
Dude, I love
I
Billie
know.
Eilish. Oh, she's
I know that like so many people like making fun of her. They're like, oh, she just mumble sings. I'm like, listen, I like toilet noise music. That's cool to me.
Dude, she has made pop music not normal pop music.
Yeah.
It's insane. And then Dua Lipa also, she rules. That's like the coolest pop music out there right now because it's got real instruments. It's got, oh God, Dua Lipa, Billie Eilish. It's all fucking sick. I love it. I love it more than anything.
I love to see pop music, the mold finally being broken a little bit. Like that is such a big event that we're experiencing because it was always, pretty boys and pretty girls and pop and, like super like bouncy sounds. But now it's Now it's starting to
You
get
could
different
be weird now.
Yeah, being weird is more acceptable. It's not just for metal kids and I don't know
Yeah.
underground rappers, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I almost feel like the internet era has really pushed the boundaries of what people are willing to do with music, because now people are seeing that like weird stuff gets popular really quick outside of that mainstream system of almost like manufactured studio music. Now people get big on the internet doing weird stuff, and everyone's like, okay, well, let's try more of this.
Yeah, totally. The internet is, while changing so many things for the good, is also probably the worst thing on the planet.
Oh, yeah, it's the best.
By
It gives
far.
way too many a platform. Way too
I
many
mean, first of all,
Yeah.
cancel culture,
Including us.
cancel culture in music is pretty bad right now. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But also people who should be canceled aren't being canceled. But that's it for another time.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big can of worms.
To go down.
Yeah,
but
that's a can of
Yeah.
worms.
the internet, while it could be used for so much good, and it is just not. But I mean, if I can look at a bright side, it's that music is becoming like the lines of genres are starting to get very blurred, and I love that.
Yeah.
I also like it that streaming platforms, they may not make an artist very much money, but
That's why I buy
you can
physical
put your
media.
you can put your music out there easier, way easier than you used to, because it used to just be Bandcamp, and good luck getting people to click on that fucking link. It's not gonna happen. But like,
yeah, it's
but
very
like,
difficult.
yeah, but fucking, like putting your music out there, and sometimes it may get mixed in with one of someone's daily mix or whatever, and they're like, oh shit, I like this band, and next thing you know, like your monthly listeners just keep going up slowly, and that's what makes me happy to see. Is
it makes the word of mouth thing a lot more digestible, because it's like you go like, oh, who's this? Let's check it out in 2 seconds, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and even fucking handing out things with like, what is it, the QR codes? I gave out like 20 of those at it was an Earl Sweatshirt concert. Fucking love. We got to go backstage for that one because we were playing the venue the same night. But dude, I handed these out to a bunch of rap fans. They're like, damn, you play metal? Like, I'll bump this shit, dude. Rap fans and rap musicians and even country and pop musicians are usually so much more open-minded. And they're like, dude, like this shit slaps. Whereas you hand, like, I hate to say it, but you hand a metal musician like something pop or like oh, this is shit. They'll immediately turn their nose up at it. And I hate to see that, but God,
I have to admit, I'm one of those people who like can very easily fall into that trap, because I can hear something that's like not really my taste and immediately be like, oh, I don't like this. And I'm definitely guilty of it, but I'm trying to like work through that, because as I've been working through that, I've been listening to more and more good music. So it's like, all right, well, Eric, stop putting your nose up at everything. It's like trying new food. You have to be willing to break through that barrier of this isn't what I'm expecting. So what is it?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what happened with Japanese House. My girlfriend played it. I was like, what the hell? Like, this is weird. I was not a fan of it. But after listening to it and actually like processing it as music, I was like, this is fucking good. And then they came and she went to the concert and I missed it. And I was like, I didn't want to tell her I was bummed out, but I was like, I was this close. I wanted to be like, I hate to say it, but you're right. You're right, Allie. I hate to say it, but I like your music taste. And I still really haven't admitted her to that to this day. So Allie, if you're watching this,
Uh-oh.
Love that.
we're not married yet.
We are actually like coming right up on that 2-hour mark pretty much. We're at 9:40 p.m. I guess should we try to take some audience questions while we banter, or is because I know you have stuff you have to do. I know you have some stuff you have to do tomorrow, Tom. So I don't want to keep you too long.
Yeah, I mean at this point, fuck what I have to do, I guess. I don't know. I'll stay up an hour later. I don't know. It's like,
that's
what,
fair.
20 minutes is going to save me anything, so.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm just trying to, not hog your whole night because you were so good to come on here.
No, this is fun. I'm having a lot of fun with this conversation.
Yeah. I've rediscovered my love of emo music over the last year. Like, I've been jamming out to MCR and like Bring Me to Life by Evanescence. It's just been like, yeah, okay.
Oh
okay.
my god. Bring Me to
I have,
Life is one of those songs
just
where
now started learning like emo music that I like. I'm like, fuck, all this stuff that I made fun of when I was like in 10th grade, just sucking off Slayer. I'm like, fuck, Under Oath and like Blink 182 and I don't know, like Hawthorne Heights are sick, you know?
Dude, I'm gonna be real. I used to rag on Hawthorne Heights, but they're tight. And Alkaline Trio, I used to make fun of, but like Alkaline Trio is one of my favorite bands now. Now that I've listened to it, dude. Okay,
I
Thrice.
Blink-182 might be one of my favorite bands ever now, and I only started listening to them a year and a half ago.
Hell yeah!
I think like that is all I listen to now. That everything I mentioned before, I forgot to mention that all I listen to is Blink-182 now. So
it makes you happy, right? It's hard to be in a bad mood and listen to Blink-182.
I grew up on Blink-182. My brothers were super into them. My brother has a signed drum head from all three members of the band, and he is super, like, Travis Barker is his absolute idol. He straightened his hair when he was in high school. He played in a band that played Story of the Year and Blink-182 covers. Yeah.
I mean, whenever, like, a song that, like, always brings me back to my childhood is Carousel by Blink-182. And I don't know why, but I was in, like, my friend's car in, like, 4th grade, and he started blasting it. And, like, his toddler, brother started trying to mouth the words, and I was like, this is a fucking tight time. And I always, like, just instantly zoom back to that memory whenever I listen to it. And so, Blink-182, I hate to say it, but yes, you can never be in a bad mood when you listen to it.
No, you cannot.
I've been neglecting that.
If all the small things comes on and you don't know every word, you're a heretic.
Oh, God, Eric, you're starting it.
I think my AirPods just died. Give me 1 second.
Oh, no.
He's got AirPods in. He can't hear us.
He can't hear us. He's got AirPods in. Hey, there he is.
Oh, no,
we got him? Oh, is he plugged in? Oh, no. It's the moment of truth. Hello?
Nope, he's gone.
Oh, no.
I think we lost audio.
I think he has to select the device.
Oh, no.
Oh. I heard something.
No, we got you, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I got a cable like a fucking idiot now.
Audio's actually really good on that. Wow.
Yeah, I actually probably should have been using these the entire time.
It's just a little bit better.
So, someone has a nerd question in the chat. Someone wants to know what your favorite guitar brand is.
Mine?
Yeah.
I don't play fucking guitar.
My father's that we both kind of run together, TW Smith guitars. I can show one of them right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my dad builds my guitars. He's like a pretty amazing guitar builder. I don't know if this lighting in here kind of sucks, but
that is very pretty.
Yeah, I have the typo negative. Yep, I have typo negative logo on the back.
There you go.
Purple tiger stripe.
Also a great band.
Freaking rad.
And then, oh my god, cables suck. I'm like pulling my headphones out of my ears. And then just because I was talking about Twin Peaks before, I got this cool Twin Peaks backplate.
That's awesome.
That my dad made for me inlaid in wood. So yeah, as far as what I play, I mean in general, these are my favorite guitars on the planet. But if I'm talking like regular companies, definitely Gibson and Fender. Like the only other guitars that I have other than my dad's are Gibsons and Fenders. I've got
do you guys take orders for those guitars, or is that just like an in-house thing?
No, yeah. My dad, he builds for the public. If anybody is interested, go to Instagram, TW Smith Guitars, and you'll find all that and can hit him up that way.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
You guys too? Acacia Strain's mainly playing on 8s now, right? 8 strings?
We actually, since Wormwood up until it comes in waves, everything was 8 strings, but we have started going back to 7s. Almost all of Slow Decay is on 7s, actually.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Still sounds incredible.
I mean, you can be heavy on a 6 string.
It's a good breath of fresh air to change the tuning up a little bit, and you write a lot different on the 7s versus the 8, so it was fun. I'm glad that we
our pet Canadian Dan wants to know if TW Smith Guitars, if you guys build lefty guitars, probably to order, right?
Yeah, I mean they're all built to order. Like it's all my dad's the only one who builds them. Like they're all just hand built. But yeah, lefty guitars, absolutely. Lefty guitars, lefty basses, right-handed guitars. Yeah, all that.
Nice. That's so cool that then you get to play on your own instrument.
Yeah. It's very tight. I could have easily moved to Ibanez. Devin's not with Ibanez anymore, but I could have easily moved to Ibanez when I joined because both Griffin and Devin were Ibanez, but I was like, why would I do that? Like, these are exactly what I want to play. So,
yeah. I mean, I feel like Ibanez is the main go-to for a lot of metal guitars, though. So,
yeah.
I mean,
if
there's no shame.
If I wasn't playing these and I was like playing Acacia Strain, I would be with Ibanez. But I mean, if I wasn't playing Acacia Strain and it wasn't TW Smith guitars, it would be probably just as many Les Pauls as I could possibly find.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about music to have an opinion on any of this. I'm loving hearing the guitar guys actually know what they're talking about.
Well,
guitars.
my guitar knowledge is this: 8 months working at Guitar Center.
These are
in the trenches of retail.
Dude, so one of the biggest Guitar Centers is here in the Southeast, and I learned so much in so little time, but I still don't know jack shit other than like basic tunings, like what different pickups sound like, basic knowledge. But when it comes to drums,
is there a bunch of Guitar Centers in Atlanta, or is there like one big one?
There's like 3 or 4.
Okay, well, my favorite Guitar Center, I hate Guitar Center, but my favorite one in the whole country is in Atlanta because they have the sickest used section out of any Guitar Center I've ever been to.
It's the big one, right?
Yeah, it's the coolest used. I almost bought a guitar on tour. I was like, I don't have money for this, but this is sick right here.
Yeah, that was my Guitar Center. I used to work drum department, and man, I miss it, dude.
That shit was cool.
Being able to sell drums and just knowing like what sounds good and trying to help people build a sound that they like is one of the most rewarding mentally rewarding things you can ever do. Like helping someone build something they want is it's like building guitars.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what do you want it to do? What do you want it to look like? And then they give you the creative control, and like, I hate to say it, but you take their money and you're just like, here.
Start facilitating for them. Yeah.
Yeah. But seeing them happy is the most. I love it, man. That's one of the things I miss about doing that. Like Airsoft, it's similar, but it doesn't even come close.
Yeah, that's tight. I love that.
Music's so personal,
Yeah. And I got to meet so many musicians at that Guitar Center. I even met Miles Teller.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Miles Teller, the actor, actually. He was, in there picking up a guitar. And this was right before Fantastic Four came out. And I was like, hey, Miles, like, I hope Fantastic Four doesn't suck. He's like, me and you both, buddy. And what do you know? That shit tanked.
That's funny.
That was one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen in my life.
I did.
Oh, yeah. The Fantastic Four have not had a fantastic.
No, it's been horrible. And I like the Fantastic Four comics, and every time like a new movie comes out, I'm like, let this be the one. And it is.
I guess that's the question. You're such a cinema nerd. Actually, is what would be your favorite movie?
Me?
Yeah.
Dazed and Confused, hands down.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Dazed and Confused is absolutely my favorite movie ever.
Awesome. What about you, Aaron? What's your favorite movie? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
My favorite movie? I'd say it's a little cliche, but 28 Days Later, if it's horror. 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later are hands down my favorite 2 movies to watch. I can watch them time and time again. I've picked those movies apart, and knowing that they've been shot on like mainly green screen with, not many special effects and pretty low budget, it blows my mind every time.
You should watch Train to Busan if you will like those movies.
I've already watched Train to Busan. That movie was fucking phenomenal.
I heard that awesome. Yeah.
Honestly,
I didn't see that, but I heard it was really cool.
I feel like you would like it. There's a lot of underlying. It's not scary, but it's definitely it's more of a suspenseful feeling. It's not scary, but it's more suspenseful.
It gets zombie genre. To me, it's basically the unofficial successor to 28 Days Later.
That's tight.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I like Adam Sandler movies.
Dan wants us to tell Tom that the Axe of Mordor is gorgeous.
Yo, that thing is sick. Thank you. That is for you guys that probably don't know what that is. That is my dad built a guitar for Matt Hafey from Trivium, and that's what he named it because it I forget what wood it is. It's driving me crazy that I don't remember what the name of it is, but it looks like a black metal font. And he was like, I gotta figure out a cool name for it. So that's what he named it. Yeah, That's awesome.
It could be black walnut or black locust, maybe.
I'm gonna let me
Or
try.
if it looks like a black metal font, it could just be like a cracked leather sofa.
Honestly,
yeah.
Trying to read death metal, like deathcore logos and death metal logos is one of my favorite hobbies because you can't, some shit you can't even tell. Especially Slam.
Ridiculous.
Moving into Caveman Slam, there's no differentiating.
Oh yeah, Slam logos. I feel like it's like modern art, like the modern art pieces where they just like throw water balloons full of paint at the canvas and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's called Lace Redwood Burl. That's what it is.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
That's
I can try and show it on here. Good God, but that looks like.
Oh, that is incredible.
Yeah, that does
Yeah.
look like, that does look like a death metal font.
Yeah,
And that is a gorgeous guitar.
Yeah.
it's massive. But yeah, that thing is sick.
I think only the best for Matt Heafy. He's a treasure.
He is one of my idols, and the fact that now he and I are friends, I'm like, that's like I could text you. That's crazy.
It's another one of those like, how did I get here moments.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He is, Trivium is one of those bands that I still look up to. Like my tastes have changed, and maybe I don't get like as impacted by the musicality of it, but as just professional musicians, I don't think there's many bands that carry themselves better than that band. Yeah. Like they're a band that you should strive to be like if you're in a band.
Well, they've been putting out a lot of social media stuff about their early career and how, they were looked down, and they had a little rough shit. They had a rough start, and they powered through that shit, and they're big now. Like, dude, that makes me happy for a lot of musicians, especially ones that are, like constantly being belittled. Like, dude, if you go to a show and the locals aren't super great, like, just support them. Like, do your best, because it means the world. Like, I'm not in a huge band, we're local. We've done a few out-of-state shows, like simple shit. But people come up to us and they're like, hey, like, you guys did great. Or like, oh my God, like, can I get a shirt? Or like, what's your Spotify link? I'm just like that shit makes me happy.
Yeah.
Like, it's the little things. It's the little things.
It's little things like that like keep you believing,
Yeah. And hearing from big artists that have dealt with it, that makes us feel better.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are big to me, Aaron. I love my Void Eater shirt. It's very, very pretty with the blue and the pink.
I guarantee you're the only one in New York with one.
Well, I shouldn't be. I'm just gonna plug Void Eater's merch real quick. Go to Void Eater's merch store. I'm gonna drop a link in the chat. Definitely go to Void Eater's merch store. Check out Void Eater. They're a really good band. If you don't like them, you're wrong. Just disagree with you.
I mean, there's some blast beats. There's some breakdowns. There's a vocalist going raw, and that's about it. But if that's I mean, what more do you want? But still, like, if it's your cup of tea, by all means.
One of my favorite design choices in merch is people just ripping off Patagonia. That's why I have an Acacia Strania T-shirt, and then I have
the same one.
I did my own thing for fucking this channel's merch. We're just ripping off Patagonia, and oh god, it's just. I love their logo, but I despise that.
It took about one week for them to send us a cease and desist for it.
Ours got taken off of TeeSpring in 3 days.
Oh, yeah. Our list of companies that have sent them to us is astronomically large because all we do is rip off mainstream clothing companies for our merch.
And then you look at the similarity.
I do.
Yeah, it's sick.
Have you done Buc-ee's yet? Because Buc-ee's should be the next one.
No, I think I'm starting to get upset with how many people suck in Buc-ee's. Like, I love Buc-ee's, but it's become too cliche,
It's getting bigger. It's bigger.
I did Pabst Blue Ribbon ripoff, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it took 3.5 hours before it got taken down.
Yeah,
so fast.
It hadn't sold shit, and I'm like, fuck. That was great. That took a while to design too.
Yeah. Yeah, they're quick. We got one from Nintendo, I think, within a day of posting something. We made an animal.
They'll take shit off YouTube as well.
Yeah.
I'm tempted. I'm gonna do a Metal Gear Solid one coming up, and I know for a fact Konami's just gonna immediately strike me down.
They're already here. They're already. You just said their name.
Yeah,
They're like.
You said the words that the Konami bosses are here.
Have you? What's your all-time favorite piece of merch that you own that like holds a special place to you?
That like from the Acacia strain or just in general?
Any.
I'm gonna say from both.
I don't even know. I have so much stupid merch. I really like the It Comes in Waves flag. I have this in front of me.
Flags.
I don't know. I'm looking. I have this poster behind me that's from when we were in Japan, and that's like the tour flyer from when we went to Japan last year, and that's like I have to like limit the amount of stuff that I like collect from us because I have
Eat
like
into
too
the profits,
much of
man.
it.
Jesus.
Yeah, but that was like one that I was like, I have to take this, and that was like just one that was like hanging up at a show, and I was like, I'm just grabbing this off the wall, like I have to take that. Yeah, so that's sick. I don't know. I guess I have like probably like a cool Slayer shirt from somewhere that I'm like, yeah, that's tight, but
some people nerd out over that shit. Some people really nerd out.
I have so much merch that I'm like, I don't know if I could pick a favorite because I have too much to like. I don't even think about it anymore. I have like the tour that I played guitar for Left Behind in. I was like, the only payment that I asked for was like my per diem for the day, and then a couple shirts at the end of the tour. And now I have like my whole closet is either Acacia Strain or Left Behind merch. So it's like that's pretty tight too. And it was cool to play with them. I'm more of like if something is really meaningful, like in the music world for me, I'll just get a tattoo of it. So I don't think about merch as much. Yeah.
You didn't happen to be playing at Left Behind when they played that convenience store in Georgia, did you?
No, I only did the Chelsea Grand.
Damn. Dude.
You played at a convenience store?
Yeah, so they played in a convenience store.
It was insane.
Yep. They were like, oh, it'll only be a few minutes. We'll clean up and everything.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I heard all about that. I'm glad I wasn't there because I would have just been like, I don't know how to deal with this.
it was a beautiful evening. I got to say, a lot of memorable shows for a lot of bands. Like talking to bands after the fact, they're just like, oh yeah, every time I go to Georgia, it's either like Georgia or Florida is where all like the crazy shit happens, or sometimes up northeast New York and all that. But usually it's southeast.
Yeah. I love we always play Atlanta, so I'm just like, fuck yeah, we're in Atlanta. Like the shows are always tight. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really appreciative that you guys hit Rochester last August, though, because that's my hometown is Rochester. Yeah. So I got to actually go with my brothers to see you guys. That was great.
What tour was that on? Is that the venue that has the American flags on it?
I don't know if it was. It was the tour where you guys were with Kubla Khan and Chamber.
It's like a weird corner stage.
Yeah, it's a corner stage. It's pretty small. There's a bar
I actually
outside
like that venue a lot. Yeah, that's a cool venue.
Yeah, I actually like that venue too. A lot of people locally hate on it for some reason, but like they get all the good shows, and it's like 20 minutes from my house via Uber, so it's perfect.
I love going there because my old babysitter's a bartender. He's like 25 years older than me. He's like, dude, I fucking know you. I'm like, oh shit. He's like, no, it's cool. I love this shit.
That's great.
I fucking love Chamber, man. God damn.
Yeah, Chamber and Kubla Khan put on an incredible show. But of course, once JFC came on, I lost my mind. So, that was what I was there for.
Having opened for Chamber twice, every time I get to see them, I'm more than happy. Same with Vamachara. Like, Vamachara's on the poster behind you.
Yeah.
God, they're so much fun to play with.
There's a reason that we've toured with Chamber 3 times in the last year. So we love Chamber.
They're fucking awesome guys too. Like they're really fucking nice, and that carries you so far, man.
Oh yeah, good. I mean, good music. Like one or the other is sick, but good music and being awesome. That's the key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man,
it's 10.
It is 10 o'clock. We are just about at that 2-hour mark. So unless there's like one more really good topic or question that we want to wrap with, I would say that maybe we should start getting this winded down. I know Ian is looking real tired over there.
Dog, I woke up like 12 minutes before this podcast is supposed to start.
I was starting to get really
Yeah,
worried.
yeah.
I was like, I swear to God, if Ian sleeps through when we're supposed to have Tom Smith on, I'm gonna be so mad.
Dude, I saw the time when I woke up, and I'm like, oh fuck, oh god.
I was about to put your night vision up on eBay.
No. Like $11 and a VCR is what you get for it. Just like, yeah, dude, it's worth it. You know?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, but no, man, great podcast. I'm super happy with this one.
Oh yeah.
Thank you once again to Tom and to Aaron for coming on. Void Eater and the Acacia Strain, two absolutely sick bands.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
What else? Where can people find you on social media? Plug your podcast. Plug anything else you want. Plug Tom and Aaron. We'll go Tom first, then Aaron.
All right. Personal Instagram, tsmith678. Podcast Instagram at riffilledlandpod. And I mean that's where you find me. I guess the only other thing that I personally would plug is that I'm now teaching guitar lessons and doing like commissioned songwriting for people. So that would be tight. If you want to pay me to write your songs, nice. I will gladly do that. Or if you want to pay me to teach you how to play guitar, kind of okay, I will also do that.
So humble.
Yeah, I mean, that's my main thing. That's my main gigs and just waiting to get back out there and playing, you know?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
Aaron?
Well, I'm gonna do this. Tom Smith, TSmith678. Smash that follow button. That's what everyone else should be doing.
I'm gonna go right back to that. Are you Aaron Pounds?
Aaron X Pounds is Aaron. So Aaron X Pounds
right back.
is my. Oh, I followed you.
I didn't even realize that your last name was there or Pounds was there the whole time on the screen. But yes, smashed it.
Okay, so my personal Instagram, Aaron X Pounds. Professional Airsoft Junkies Instagram, Junkies Aaron. Feel free to follow either or. It does not matter. I work for Airsoft Junkies. We support lots of fellow airsofters, including the GunGamers crew, because they are the best.
We're not, but thank you.
The best.
The best is something. I'll say that.
The best is
something's right.
But no, that's about it. I mean, Void Eater on Spotify. We released EP that we were supposed to play, and then the Coronas hit, and so it's been out for a while, and I have not played it one time live.
Sounds about right.
You know, like disheartening it was to release something and then not even be able to play it live once.
Yep.
So if anyone can, you know, Big Cartel, Void Eater, Facebook, Void Eater Band, or Void Eater Official. We're an Atlanta-based band. We're not very big, and we're not going to get super political, but we hate shitty people, and we don't like when people abuse power.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
Hell yeah.
Can I just say that Aaron Pounds is an excellent stage name, even though it's your real name. It's also a great porn name, so there's an alternative career for somebody down the tubes.
I mean, good thing I'm just a little gay.
Nice.
Well, that's a great way to end it. Yeah, GunGamers Podcast, episode 23 with Aaron of Void Eater and Tom Smith. Almost a junior. Tom Smith of the Acacia Strain.
Not a junior.
Not a junior.
Again, thanks, guys, for coming on.
Yeah,
no problem, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Are we done?